Hello besties, the long awaited fondant recipe is here. I call this fondant recipe my ultimate fondant recipe. So if you'd like to know how to make this fondant is very stretchy and it dries out very fast. I use it to mold most of my hyper realistic cake. Now this fondant recipe I'm about to give you, it is not the same one I use for my normal cake covering. This one I use it for most of my hyper realistic cake so that it will dry out so fast. First of all, get your icing sugar. I love to measure my icing sugar because most icing sugar, some of them don't reach up to 500 grams. So I have to use my scale to make sure that it weighs up to 500 grams. Please besties, do me a favor as usual, like this video, share this video with your friends, subscribe and follow for more amazing videos like this. Then get your CMC and add 1 tablespoon of CMC. Stir your icing sugar and your CMC properly and then keep it aside. Get a plate and add in 4 tablespoons of H2O or water. Make sure your measurements are very correct and precise because any little mistake, it can ruin your fondant. Then spread 1 tablespoon of gelatin. Mix it immediately and allow it to bloom for at least 3 minutes. Just 2 to 3 minutes is okay. As you can see, I'm turning it very well. After stirring it very well, just allow it to settle, to rest. It's very important. Allow it to rest before you place it on your hot water. So I think it's after 3 minutes I had to now give it the last stir. I placed it on my hot water and I allowed it to melt, and can you see how it's crystal clear with a little bit of tinted yellow. I don't know, this is not really like clear as water. Then you add 1.5 tablespoon of glucose. Make sure your measurements are precise, please. It's also important. And this kind of recipe it's usually my I use this recipe during the rainy season because during the rainy season our fondants don't really dry out as fast as we want it to dry out. And if you're making this fondant, make sure that your room is not hot or your studio is not hot. Make sure there is fan or your AC or is well ventilated. Now I just added my glucose. Mix it until everything becomes clear. But if it doesn't mix up with your gelatin, just place it on your hot water and melt everything. Now listen properly here. As for this place, what I normally do before I add my gelatin mixture into my icing sugar, I normally remove 1 cup of icing sugar. I remove 1 cup of icing sugar and keep it by the side and begin to mix my gelatin mixture and my icing sugar. I begin to mix it until I get to a point whereby I will need to start kneading it on my table. Then I will now pour everything on my table and begin to knead it. I would like to fast forward everything here because I would love you to see the step-by-step process. I would love you all to see the step-by-step process in which I get my fondant icing recipe. That's the end product or the end result. So I won't really fast forward this video. Now as you can see, I'm kneading my fondant. Now when you're kneading your fondant, like when you're making your fondant icing, don't like knead it into your hands, knead it in together. I don't even know how to explain it, but just watch me as I do it. Now you might ask, why did I remove 1 cup? This 1 cup I removed, I normally use it whenever I want to knead my fondant. Like when I want to use my fondant to make my hyper realistic cake, this is the remaining fondant I use to knead it. It's actually very important to measure your icing sugar. I know what I'm saying. Anytime you buy an icing sugar from the market, make sure you measure it on your scale, because if the icing sugar you bought is maybe, let's say for instance, is 400 grams and you remove 1 cup, now it will alter this particular recipe. So please measure, then remove 1 cup from your 500 grams. Is very important. So this 1 cup I use it when I'm working on my hyper realistic cakes, when I want to knead out my fondant, and our fondant is ready. It's so stretchy, so smooth and easy to work with. Now don't use this fondant immediately. Leave it for at least 3 hours. Allow it to rest for 3 hours before you use it. And also when you want to use it, you notice that it is already very strong. All you need to do is that just apply a little bit of shortening or Crisco on your hands. Just rub it on your hands and begin to knead it. Don't add water. Remember, you want it to dry out so fast. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate. Please like this video, share this video, and here is the recipe. You can copy it out.